Now, you're in Houston. You've chosen Dallas.
Yes.
What's up with that?
Well, I want to be close to SMU.
I got it.
And that's where our, policy center / library / archives are going to be.
You okay with that?
Dallas connection.
Did you hope that he'd come to Houston?
Huh?
Did you hope that he'd move to Houston when he
No, I never thought he would move to Houston.
Plus, Houston's 2 hours away from. Dallas is 2 hours away from Crawford, and I plan on spending some time down there in Crawford.
And Laura had some Dallas connections, so
yeah,
it made sense.
Now, I want to ask you a little bit about the intelligence agency situation. After all, you came as an outsider to intelligence. You were an intelligence professional, and now you got the building out there named after you. So obviously it could work. Your thoughts about not the Panetta nomination or the Panetta selection specifically, but about the general idea of what it takes to be to run the intelligence agency effectively.
I heard what the president said in his interview with you, and I agree with that. There's so many outstanding people there. And so I went in there at a time the agency was under tremendous fire. The Pike report and the Church report, and they were just decimating the morale of the agency. So I viewed my job not to learn all the tradecraft, but to defend the quality and the character of the agency and the people there. And that was perhaps an easier assignment than knowing all about every intrigue of intelligence. But all I hope is that whoever goes out there goes with confidence in the CIA and the people around CIA. They're good people, more PhDs than many universities and many different disciplines. And everybody just thinks it's kind of a James Bond operation. And so I think that whoever assumes that job, and I've had great confidence in the president's pick, will express confidence in the agency and the people that make it up.
Talk a little bit, if you will, about this relationship among people who are in or have been in this remarkable job. It's a pretty exclusive club, and I know you had a lunch this week to bring them together with the president-elect. But what is that atmosphere like among former presidents? Are all the old political differences aside? Is that all over with?
I think so, and I think everyone who's a member of that club realizes there can only be one president. He's not going to be turning to you every day saying, "What do I do now?" You read a lot of kind of intellectual books. Well, what we need is the advice, formalize the advice of former presidents. He doesn't need a lot of advice from former presidents, and the current president needs to have good people around him who will help him pursue the goals he set out. And so I don't think there's much to it except collegiality and the idea that you want to be out there if you need support.
Now, you've watched this range of appointments that Barack Obama has announced. Your feeling about it?
I've been impressed.
Why?
Well, because one, he showed decisiveness. Two, he has picked people that are capable and competent people. And I think he's had a very good transition. And frankly, I think Josh Bolten, my chief of staff, and the people that work here in the White House have also had a good transition because they have reached out to the President-elect's team at all levels. And the message is, we want there to be a seamless move from us leaving and you coming in, and we want you to succeed. And so I've been very pleased with what I've seen over since the election.
You agree with that?
Yes, totally. Totally. And if I didn't, I wouldn't tell you. Same policy.
Well, look, this is very like you, and like you as well, to refrain from comment on the other political figures, the incoming president, and so on. Why?
Well, why be out there looking like you're carping and criticizing and know everything? I mean, I've heard what the president said about President Obama, President-elect Obama, and I feel the same way. Support him where you can. And don't go out there criticizing and carping. You look small yourself, for one thing, but that's not the main reason. The main reason is you need support. And if it's something you disagree with violently, sit on the sidelines and shut up.
There'll be plenty of opportunities for people to carp, trust me. I mean, this is
yeah.
a job that,
I know there
as
will.
Dad knows as well as anybody, it's you'll get plenty of opinions when you're the president, and you'll get plenty of flattering statements, and you'll get your fair share of not so complimentary comments. I also remember what it was like to have people disappoint you. I mean, you'll be picking up the newspaper and reading comments from people that you just say, well, I just can't believe that person would be, it's kind of not respectful of their own office, much less yours, to call those kind of names. And that, to me, that has been the biggest disappointment in the political process up here. There's been this kind of bitterness by a few people to the point where they don't want to have a logical discussion or a civil discussion about policy. They just want to tear you down. And
do you think that's gotten worse since your days in the White House?
I don't know that it's gotten worse, but it's offensive, very offensive. And I agree with the president that when you have somebody you have your own trust in, and that person, for his own gain, thinks it for his own gain, goes out and gives kind of, here's the inside story, here's what they're saying, but here's what's really happening. They're playing the leak game. It's just horrible, and every administration has that. But I think President George Bush here has been lucky. There hadn't been that many of them.
Yeah.
And I think we were pretty lucky.
When you left this office, it was reported at least that it took a while. You had a period of adjustment, and it was tough for you at first. And then, obviously, you've hit your stride and found your life. And how was that, and what advice do you have for your son as he embarks on a similar experience?
Well, looking back, lo, those many years, I don't remember it being extraordinarily difficult. I mean, I felt unfulfilled agenda, for example.
Right.
I felt things I'd like to have done. But once you got back to Texas, it wasn't difficult at all. You just start in a new life. And part of mine was to build around our library at Texas A&M, and just as the way he's looking forward to having his library, you get a lot of strength from there. You bring a lot of people there to talk. So it's not that difficult.
his advice was come back to Texas, but he didn't need to give it, because that's exactly where we're headed.
Yeah, people hover around Potomac River with the senators or congressmen that have been defeated, and they better go home. That's what I think.
Gentlemen, thank you very much
Sir.
for doing it.